Three, two. Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session. This is an amazing day, amazing day. First of all, we're celebrating Women's History Month. We've got a sister right here who has, made huge inroads with her own podcast network. It is called the Lot. Look, let me just do this right way. So today, we have a very special guest by the name of Angel Livas. She's the founder of the Alive Podcast Network. And Angel is a media mogul, a champion for Black voices, and a true innovator in the podcasting world. The Alive Podcast Network is the first Black woman owned podcast network and is dedicated to amplifying Black voices, providing monetization opportunities for Black content creators, and ensuring they maintain ownership of their IP, that intellectual property. Y'all know. So y'all, please join me. I don't have no hand clap or no buttons, but welcome, Angel Liz. Yeah, welcome. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
It is such a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you so much for inviting me to have this conversation.
It's amazing. So first, let's just start with this introspective from the inside looking out.
Mhm.
Miss Howard University graduate, how do you see Angel Levis, the creator, the leader,
Mhm.
the innovator?
Like you said, the leader, the innovator, or all the flaws that I see. Like, I think that's one of the beauties of like being a leader. I think it's being able to not only own what you have built, but also see the areas that you are constantly wanting to improve upon. And continue to evolve. And I think for me, when I see Angel, when I think about Angel, I see the little girl. I see the
Mm,
girl who had the big dreams of just having impact and being very intentional with how I always showed up so that my best self can be an example for other people who may not have had the examples that I had. Like I often tell people, I was blessed to be raised in a two-parent household. My parents have been married for 46 years now, 47 years now.
mm,
And to be able to have that as an example who believe in you, they're business owners. And so you have that example of leadership, love, and legacy. It's a remarkable opportunity for me to want to be that example for others.
you're doing great. Look, this young lady has been featured in Forbes magazine. She has been featured on morning shows, and now she has graduated to the shenanigans of Dr. Dovey's podcast. Fun. And I'm happy to be able to celebrate Women's History Month with you, and shine a light. I appreciate it. So, and I'm sure you've answered this question often. What inspired you to create the Live Podcast Network, and what specific gaps
Mm.
were you hoping to fill in the podcast landscape?
So for me, Alive was created because I'd been working in media for, at the time, it was like over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the people that I was creating content for had been white.
Mm.
So I kind of grew up learning this is what it looks like. This is how it's supposed to be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I had the opportunity to start working with Black celebrities, I realized this looks totally different than what I was accustomed to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those shows got canceled from a major network. And it was a mental health show. And a gentleman wrote in and essentially was like, what am I supposed to do? This was my weekly accountability partner, and I can't afford therapy. And this is during COVID.
Wow.
Okay. So you add on isolation, not having funding to be able to have the help that you know that you need, and then a source of entertainment is stripped away from you. And, his letter just really resonated with me. And I had a conversation with one of my girlfriends that I went to Howard with, and she's also in the entertainment space. And she was like, "Well, Angel, who are you waiting for? You are the person who can make this happen. So go make it happen." And I was like, well, dang. But that's the power
Hey,
of having accountability partners and people in your industry who understand what you're capable of and pushing you to really hit where you're supposed to be, and that you keep striving for greater and excellence.
this is this is a modern manifestation of our women being the backbone of our society for over 500 years. Take a listen to the young sister. You know what I mean? I'm just going to leave it there because we don't have to get real political. We're celebrating and we're just going to stay with that. Can you share maybe a specific success story of a creator on the Live Podcast Network who's been able to monetize their content and grow their audience significantly?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different examples. One show that comes to mind is More Than a Title. It's two gentlemen, they are based out of New York, and they have conversations with CEOs, but give the conversation from more than just the title of that, right?
Mm,
And so they've been able to expand their territory. They've been asked to partner with major organizations like Black. They partnered with them as like a media partner, the first year that it launched, and they've been invited back since. They have been able to expand their territory and with their YouTube channel and really like make headways with their visibility, and their monetization. I think one thing that I always tell creators is like you have to understand the why behind the content that you're creating. Is your content being created because you want to generate revenue from it directly from the show? You want to just have visibility, or is this like a lead generator for your business?
mm,
And I think in their case, they've been able to like leverage all three of those things. And so a lot of people are like, oh, I want a podcast, or they want to do these things, but they also want to make money from it. But sometimes they're not exactly sure what's the best way to go about it. And if you have a business, I think leveraging your podcast as a lead generator for your business is also a great way to generate revenue.
Jim, how, because in this ever changing world, all these different platforms are, trying to take control of the creator's IP, whether it's in the music space or the news space or the podcast space. How does a live ensure that creators, retain ownership of their intellectual property, and what are the key provisions in your contracts that protect them? We got to get to the specifics because
Yeah.
4 million
It,
people want to know.
it's exactly what you said. It's a contract, right? That clearly states you maintain full ownership of your content.
Mm-hmm.
At no point is Alive coming to say, hey, well, because we distributing your content, we're promoting your content, we are 25% owner of your content. And a lot of times when you are working with platforms, you have to read the fine print and understand exactly what you are signing and what you are signing away. Um,
Mm,
even with some recent, I think TikTok just did
mm,
like some recent updates, and most people have no idea what they have signed off. And so the one problem that I think our community has, and I repeatedly see it, is that we don't want to read stuff.
mm-hmm,
And we don't want to take accountability to make sure that when we are setting ourselves up for our business or whatever, that we are mindful of the fine print. We are paying attention, and we have lawyers to review some of these things. Like, especially if you're really trying to build a business. Like, for little social media stuff, like, no, I don't think you necessarily have to have a lawyer because it's very clear what they're saying. You just got to read it.
mm-hmm. I am a TikTok creator network manager.
Mm.
And when I saw it, I'm going, bruh, if I wasn't under contract for the next 2 years, I would delete my account.
Hmm.
You get to use my name, image, and likeness in
Yeah.
advertising or whatever outside source you want to use it, and I don't get anything,
No.
man. So, like I said, if I weren't under contract for 2 more
Hmm.
years, psst, TikTok would not be in my social media inventory.
No.
That's just usury. It's unreasonable. It's ridiculous.
And the
Um,
unfortunate part is people are still going to use it.
they're still using so many people use social media as their foundation, as their core, as opposed to having an actual website, you
Hmm.
know, and knowing the SEO benefits of having that and how that becomes you know,
Hmm.
your hub in the middle of a
Yeah.
wheel with 100 spokes.
Yeah.
Ugh. So, anyway, what are some of the unique features of the Alive uh, podcast network app that enhance the listening experience and foster community engagement? I know you have some unique tools, and I'm excited for you to tell the people.
Yeah. So, some of the really cool things that we have, I am a whole nerd. Okay.
Okay,
So,
come with
going
me.
into going into building the platform, I kind of wanted some features that you don't traditionally see. So, I wanted you to be able to clip excerpts and share those particular moments without having to have an editing platform. You can do it directly in the platform. I wanted you to be able to comment and have discussions where our hosts can come in, start like a live, like a chat, with listeners around what they've heard, their feedback. So I wanted those things for the interaction and engagement and for not just having just the community aspect, but really an ecosystem where everybody is able to learn and grow together, right?
Hmm.
The other part that makes our platform unique and different is anytime someone subscribes to the network because of a particular host, that host gets 50% of your monthly subscription fee if you become a paid member. So not only do you get this array of amazing content, but now you get to support a Black owned business as well as your favorite Black content creator.
Mm,
Um, and so for me, that was a very intentional gesture that we implemented into the building of the platform because we want our content creators to win. We want everybody to be able to grow.
mm,
And for me, I didn't see the sense of building something that only benefits the network.
mm,
That's the problem with a lot of these platforms. They're set up for one person to win or a very small percentage of people to win versus make it an equal opportunity. If you have great listeners and they love what it is that you're doing, allow them the opportunity to support you while still being exposed to other great content.
mm. You know, my experience is not unique. Um, First starting out podcasts and
Mhm.
learning how to do this, and now I'm just too old to care. It's my show. It's gonna come out how it comes out, and
Mhm.
but people seem to enjoy that part. But for those that are just really getting into it, I noticed that you have some tools and resources, um, to help them develop their podcasting skills, um, understand elevating production quality. So, could
Mhm.
you tell us about some of those things, that are part of your package? Um,
Yeah.
I'm
So
excited for them to hear.
yeah, so our creators have an opportunity to do like listening sessions where you can actually have time like every quarter and you get feedback. You can submit particular episodes that you want people to like a producer to review. And then you get feedback and you have like a good half hour, 20-minute session of being able to understand different things that you can do to improve
Mm-hmm.
your content creation. We also have an exclusive platform for our live hosts called We Are Alive. That's a space for our creatives to be able to sign up and say, hey, I would love to cross promote like with this other show, or I would like to do an ad swap. So,
Mm,
different features to really help expand the territory of how people can find your content. And then last but not least, we also have like quarterly host meetups where our hosts, we all come together and we either are informing all of our hosts of like this is where the network is, these are some new things we're about to start doing. It allows them opportunities to ask questions, learn. Sometimes we are teaching things like AI is expanding. A lot of our creators, they don't have a journalism degree. A lot of them are not storytellers, but they want to do well with what it is that they're doing, and so we'll provide like educational like sessions during that time where maybe we're talking about like how to utilize AI to help you cut down the time of your editing or whatever it is that can really help them. Or we may have like some of our collaborative partners coming in to talk about the nature of the relationship and how it's beneficial to them.
see, thought of everything. Thought of everything. The planning. It may seem, kind of cliche to even ask this question because women have similar complaints across, marketing, radio, entertainment, et cetera, et cetera. But in taking the helm, and becoming the tip of the spear for melanated podcasters,
Mhm.
as a black woman founder, what are some of the challenges perhaps that you faced as a black woman founder in the podcasting industry, and you're obviously triumphant? What did you do to overcome those challenges?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I'm even going to add another layer to it. I think it's someone who had to learn a totally different industry,
Mm,
right? So I knew media, but I knew nothing about like being a tech founder,
mm,
and being a non-technical founder, right?
mm,
So, for me, one of the things that was probably the hardest was understanding what I needed to do to have my technology built the way that I wanted to understand really what is a tech stack and, what is all the lingo that I need to make sure that I can eloquently speak, where
mm,
I'm having these conversations with developers to ensure that the product is being completed the way that I want it to. And I had to learn the hard way. Like I wasted a lot of money,
mm,
uh, and time and energy investing in certain developers to be able to produce something. And then it was not what I wanted. And so, a lot of it, it's definitely going to be trial and error. But the one thing that I encourage people to understand when they're in this trying to find the right developer stage. Um, Creators of apps, they will tell you, oh, yeah, this is what I do. I'm a builder, right? But what they don't tell you is as long as you're paying, they will figure it out and eventually get to where you want the application to be. And so there's a difference between having a sweet spot in whatever the industry is that you are in and that developer having past experience creating what you want.
mm,
When I was in the development phase, I was building something that was very different than what people were used to seeing, especially with podcasting. So they're like, yeah, we can do this, but this isn't some cookie cutter. You're putting some different APIs together to build this. No, this has to be built from scratch. And so understanding that your non-negotiable is you want what you want and
mm.
don't settle for them trying to tell you, oh, this is what you have to do, because you don't.
All right. So look, this question is off script. So we're gonna be at 11 as opposed to 10. But you just
Okay.
ignited another question. I told you what happened. I told you what happened. In doing business, we know that oftentimes these builders and tech people are not domestic.
Hmm.
so in the development, not only are you telling them technically, what you want
Hmm.
and what you need and how you want to provide it, you have to also, in learning their language, somehow disseminate to them the cultural aspect of
Hmm.
having this going forward in the United States. It's not about, you know, melanated or some caste system
Yeah.
thing, but having knuckleheads not try to understand the context in which you're like, this is important. It has to be this way and why.
Yeah.
Giving them the American experience,
Hmm.
so to
Hmm.
speak.
Hmm.
Um, I brought that up because I don't want you to blast anybody, but
Hmm.
you have to have patience and intestinal fortitude. And if you're not Big Bang Hank, you can't just keep throwing money down the
Yeah.
drain. How did you learn to negotiate and navigate that conversation with those builders?
So, I went through three developers before I found something that I was happy with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first go round, I had thought that I was hiring a CTO, a chief technology officer,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the person that was supposed to handle it, right? What I later learned is that he wasn't handling it, and he had hired a team that he had previously worked with, and they were using very old code. They were
Mm-hmm.
using very old infrastructure that just wasn't what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But again, lots of money had already been spent, and I had to fire him. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
fire the CTO, and then I ended up having to fire the tech team that was hired
Mm-hmm.
in another country.
Mm-hmm.
Second time, I went with someone in the States
Mm-hmm.
um, that was just charging way too much, but was also very limited in their, I'm gonna say, imagination to really comprehend what I want. And this was a Black man.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it doesn't just have to be that they're overseas not to understand and subscribe to your vision,
Mm-hmm.
right? My other team that I ended up going with, they're also overseas, but they came as a resource. So we went through Techstars, powered by JP Morgan, Accelerator. And so I finally was just like, yo, why do I have to just start from nowhere? Let me talk to some of these other founders, see who they use to build their technology. So again, mentors, being surrounded by other people who have done what it is that you are attempting to build. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to start from ground zero. Start from a higher playing field where everybody else has already done the legwork, so you don't have to fail your way up to the top.
That part. Do not have to recreate the wheel. Somebody
Oh.
already did it, perfected it.
Yeah.
All right. So, number 12, you know, having the courage to step into rooms and networks, like you said, stepping into this community and asking questions. Um, I'm presuming that you didn't have imposter syndrome. You always knew that you belonged there. You'd already been through that process coming up through university and being in the media space. So now you're in the room with
Mhm.
people who have successfully done it. You know, how do you address new podcasters who resist being willing to put themselves in these webinars, in these places to learn? You know, what are some of the fears maybe that they have in jumping into this kind of a situation? Is that a good question? Does that
They
make
don't like
sense?
to network. They have a fear of networking.
That part.
And it's something that I hear very often.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that we talk about quite a bit in our discussions with our creatives, where they're just like, how do you put yourself out there? How do you walk into a room and start talking about your podcast? Because everybody has a podcast. Like, why would they care?
Mm,
Right.
mm,
And so then it becomes, in my opinion, a level of insecurity in what it is that you have created. And so,
mm,
what I always encourage people is if you've created something, you have to believe in what it is that you've created. And not just from a very vain perspective, but believing that it's solving a problem for whoever your target audience is.
mm,
And if you start to look at things as here's a resource for you. This is something that, I know this and I'm really good at this and I'm creating this for you. Then you no longer look at it as look at me, but you're being a servant to others. And when you're operating from a place of servitude, when you're operating from a place of, I am using my gifts to better the world will receive it as such, not as though it's about you.
mm. You know, I've inserted myself into this story several times. Bad journalist. But I found how I was able to move forward over these last 20 years is like if you're in the room and the
Mhm.
other people are in the room with you,
Mhm.
obviously you belong there, and they're there. Well, there's a cab air quote thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right, but people won't know that you don't belong there until you open your mouth to say hello.
Yeah.
And even if you don't belong there, perhaps someone will be kind enough and insightful enough to guide you where you need to be. Like
Yeah.
you're not over here yet, but
Yeah.
here. But to learn the nuts and bolts of your craft, to get out of the trench with your shovel,
Yeah.
onto the supervisory playing field, the big machinery, you gotta get in there and do the work. And learning how to communicate is doing the work. If you're going to do business on any scale, podcast level, or thank you for allowing me to sidetrack us. I will do it often, the longer.
No, of course.
I appreciate you. So, how do you see the podcasting landscape evolving? In the next few years, and what do you envision, or what role do you envision Alive playing in that evolution?
Yeah, so my goal is to be ahead of that curve. And um I'm praying that that's where we are and what we're doing.
Mm,
So I feel like it's going to move to more CTV.
mm,
And so we last year migrated and was able to have our network added to 4 CTV platforms. So you're able to watch Alive on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, and Samsung.
mm-hmm,
Um, and so you've started to see numbers of kind of like conversations of different CTV platforms like a Netflix and Hulu toying with the idea of welcoming in podcasts. And what you've seen is that they've brought in some, but they're all like really big name people,
right,
right?
right, right.
Which is what I feel like is the problem with podcasting in the first place. It's always the bigger people who get pulled into opportunities and they're able to make the money from it. And then the smaller type programming, they're left by the wayside.
Mm,
But that is why, in the role in which Alive will fill that void, because we are also on certain CTV platforms. And if we build it, can't nobody take it from us.
that part,
If we support it, can't nobody take it from us.
that part.
We can't get canceled. You know what I mean? And so that is my goal for us to really be able to not just own our narratives, but own the platform in which our narratives are seen and heard.
Yes, dang it. Yes. All right. Question 13. You just keep doing it to me. I mean, like, if we went fishing, we would probably be talking for like the whole 8 hours we out on the boat. Like we ain't called nothing, but I
Just mean
want
we be eating good. No, we gonna catch something.
we'll catch something. We gonna catch something.
What did Sel say? We leaving here with something.
We leaving here with something. Yeah, if we got to use a net cheat, I don't care. A dynamite stick, drop it in the water, catch it as it floats to the top.
Right.
I feel like I'm sitting at the feet of, you know, I don't know. I don't want to go there because then people say, you just a fanboy because she's young and all that. I'm like, look, this woman is serious. No, I'm taking you very serious. This is not shenanigans right now. This I'm being educated because I'm able to. These aren't anybody else's questions. These are really my questions. You know what I mean? But you sparked them, and I just feel like you're so. I'm getting the benefit without you giving away like trade secrets or anything, but just
Yeah.
the education is oftentimes what we don't get. And to
Mhm.
get beyond the who, we could do the who, what, when, where, why about the live podcast, but
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense as to why you're the leader.
Mm.
We have to know what you
Yeah.
experience, and we have to get that nugget. I'm a meatitarian, so I like to get all the juice out the steak. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You vegans can do what you want to do with your mushrooms and all that. I'm trying to have everything: fish, fries, a
The
little
whole
bit,
shebang.
some greens. With throw the turkey neck in the green. Anyway, yes. So I'm taking advantage of having you here, and I appreciate your patience and your graciousness to me. Thank you so much. Um, what advice do you give to aspiring Black podcasters who are looking to launch their own shows and build a loyal audience?
I think it's a great question. So, I work, well, I have a contract with Southern University where they have a channel on our network. And so I'm actually here today, where we just met with students and the very question was addressed where for me, it's encouraging our creatives to be creative and not copycats.
mm, thank you.
So when you can be authentic in your creativity, you can be authentic in what matters to you in the lane that has been placed on your heart that you're supposed to be in, then you will thrive. You will do well, because you're not trying to be someone else. You are operating from your space of your gifts and being able to share that with the world, right? Kind of going back to what I said earlier, that servant's heart. And one of the gentlemen, actually, I had a room full of guys today, which I absolutely was thrilled about because most of the time I feel like in the creative space, in my experience, it's typically women dominated
Mm,
as the storytellers. And so to have a room full of gentlemen, one of the guys shared like his podcast, and he has a pretty great following and he's in college. And so he's like, I just want to keep building. And I'm like, okay, we're about to start pushing your content through the network. So now you have, outside of just the visibility of social media and a YouTube, now you're on television. So when you're going to a job interview and they're like, okay, where have you published? Have you been, officially published? You can name, hey, I'm also a part of this network, not just on social media or YouTube. That is a differentiator that I want for our young people to be able to say, hey, yeah, that's cute. Yeah, everybody's on YouTube. Everybody's not on TV.
mhm. Question 14. We haven't got to 10 yet, but we had 14. Technical aspect. Now, you have a built-in multicast. They wouldn't need to be on like StreamYard or Lightstream or anything like that, right? It's all done throughout just through the live.
So most of our creatives, they have it's pre-recorded content, like
Oh,
most
okay,
like television, like
okay.
it's pre-recorded and then it's uploaded into the system. We do have capabilities of doing like a live feed for like live segments. So I can give you an example. Last year we had our Live in 25 event. It was supposed to be live in Long Beach, California. but the government shut down.
Mm.
And so this is during the time where planes were not taking off and people were being stuck in airports. And I was like, that's not going to be on my heart that you were trying to get to my event and you end up getting stuck somewhere. So I canceled the live portion of it and we went live on the network. And so even more people were able to tune in,
Hmm.
uh, to all of the speakers. And it literally was all day programming for like 2 days.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
exciting. That's see. All right. Question number 9. See, I got 9 and 10. We skipped, jumped around. I appreciate it. How can listeners um, and creators get involved with the Alive Podcast Network? And give them an overview, please, of the steps to joining the platform.
Yeah. So all of our creators that are part of the network, we now have over 100 shows on the platform. They schedule a call with me. That's the baseline preliminary. I have to talk to everyone because I have to understand why you're doing it. And we only want people who really want to share like information, innovation, inspirational type content. And so that's first. And then once you have your call, then you get an agreement. Once your agreement is ratified, you pay your invoice, and then you're connected with a content manager. And your content manager is the person who is essentially with you throughout your time at the network. They're your main point of contact if you have questions. And then, yeah, you're onboarded to the platform.
Okay. So let me recap. There is a cost,
Hmm.
which is fair to be on the network. I think it's annual. Is that correct?
Hmm.
All right.
Yep.
But then, on the advertising space, the revenue share is 50% for the
Well, that's
creator. Is that what I understood?
So the 50-50 split, that's not advertising, that is subscription.
That's
So anytime
subscriptions.
somebody joins the network,
Okay.
our advertising splits are always more in favor of our creatives. So it's 65% if it's something that the network finds for you. It's 85% if you have your own um, sponsor or something like that.
I guess another technical question, is this an exclusive situation?
So it's only exclusive in regards to you can't have us distribute your show to Apple, Spotify, iHeart, like all those places that we distribute to, and you distribute it because then
Mm,
it's two different feeds that would be out there, and then it becomes confusing for your audience.
mm,
Um, but again, you own it, so I'm not going to tell you you can only be on a live. You can't be on YouTube anymore, or you can't be, on what other platform that you may already be a part of. It's at your discretion. However, what I encourage people is to have something different on a live. So if you want to still push to those other platforms through another means, then say, hey, we have bonus content that's only available on the Alive Podcast Network platform. Then
mm.
that will drive people to want to come there and they will be willing to subscribe to the platform, right? So now you have bonus features or you have something that's not available everywhere else. And it will drive the support of your viewers or listeners to be able to download the app and support you there.
Content strategy, and I asked that question because I wanted you to be able to expand on some of the tools and resources and the guidance and the mentorship that they actually get by
Yeah.
participating in the Alive network. I'm, you know, convinced, you know, I can't co-sign for you right now, but I'm co-signing for you right now. I'm convinced that it's an amazing opportunity. It's well thought out, well considered, well presented. All the details, and yeah, this is something that we have to support and get the word out to. Looking ahead, I know that you're busy and you're at the university right now, and I'm sure people are looking at you like, I need my room back, Professor. Being but looking ahead, what are your long-term goals for Live, and what impact do you hope to have on the Black community at all and the broader podcasting industry?
Yeah, like I'm gonna start with the last one. Like, I want to revolutionize how Black content is supported. I want to help really stimulate the Black creative economy. I think for far too long, our creative genius has been exploited, and others have been able to reap the benefit of our creativity
Mm,
and not us. And so
mm-hmm.
if I can shift what that narrative looks like financially for us, then I'll feel like I made a true contribution to media, entertainment, and creative ownership.
Mm,
Um, I would say for me, what I want Alive to look like, I want us to be like the Tyler Perry Studios of
mm,
podcasting,
yes.
not even just podcasting, but entertainment, right?
Mm,
Like where, yes, we're a live podcast network, but we now have television. So I want us to have TV shows that are on our platform. And where we just opened our studio at AGN at the Ronald Reagan building in DC, being able to have us in there where I'm bringing together two very different worlds where
mm,
maybe we have news broadcasts happening live, but we also have up and coming creators in the room right next door creating their content. So it's breaking down the walls of I'm here, you're here, and leveling the playing field where everybody, if you're creative, let's all win together. Like, why
mm,
are we undermining one group because they're learning versus
mm.
the people who have already learned? You can help elevate one another.
Shortening the distance, closing the gap between tier one and tier four media.
That part.
That part. I love it. Is there anything that you wanted to cover that I may have neglected? How can they reach out to you, social media, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, like definitely follow us. A live podcast network app. We're available everywhere. I think we're on TikTok, but I don't think we're on TikTok. Um, but yeah, like everywhere else, we're very active and engaged. You can visit our website, alivepodcastnetwork.com. And you can also follow me at the Angel Nicole Thee, Angel Nicole, that double E. Yeah, and I think, if there is something that you're building, do it. Don't wait. If there are people who are discouraging you, God didn't give them the vision, He gave it to you. So act on it and walk in
Mic drop.
it.
The Hype Magazine live sessions. We out. Nothing, enough said. Hold on. Oh, bruh. I am recording, right?
Yeah, you said you were.